happy to be here today. And just to be part of this session again. I think like JB said earlier, we've been doing this for the past 4 years. And I'm glad to see Samson actually sharing a testimony about, we're already seeing the results of doing this for the past 4 years. For as JB said, today what I'm going to be talking about a lot is just to walk you through a lot of the scholarships opportunities that are available for you across the globe that you can actually apply for this year. But part of what I think it's important to do as well is to really take some time to actually take a step back. Because what I see many of our students make, and I see this a lot among students, is they get quite overwhelmed when they're searching for scholarships. So that's what we're gonna do a lot today. So I'm not gonna introduce myself again. I'm just gonna jump right in. And again, once again, welcome to the scholarship summit, which is really anchored by LCA. And this is the fourth edition. And I just want to start by saying that by just making these few points that I think you're in the right place today if you are keen to achieve your goal to study abroad on a fully funded scholarship. And the other thing that I just want to make as well is if you have some sense of how to go about it, but you want some guidance on how to identify the right scholarship. The reality is, these sessions that we have today is really, really a good opportunity for you. And I'm glad that at the end of everybody talking, there will be an opportunity for you to really, ask some questions, and hopefully we can provide some responses, for you. Then the third point that I want to make is, if you're ready to, to put in the work, as you probably heard from a lot of the speakers, previously, getting a fully funded scholarship is never easy. It takes a lot of hard work, but if you're willing to put in the work, then I would say that yes, you're in the right place. But I also want to say that, just to highlight the point that if you want a quick study abroad process, I think this summit is not for you. Because a lot of people will come to this summit and they just feel like, oh, they're not giving me what I need to do. But even though you're being given what you need to do, the issue is that you're not willing to commit to the process and put in the hard work for you to make the magic, happen at the end of the day. And here's my promise to you over the next 30 minutes. Well, less than 30 minutes or so. What I really want to do is to give you an incredible value as much as possible. And I want you to walk away with, number one, how to find the right scholarship and also the specific scholarship that I can actually apply for immediately. And I genuinely believe this with every fiber in me that, winning a fully funded scholarship is possible for anybody who is willing to put in the hard work. And I love the stories that has been shared so far. Whether you have a third class, an HND, a second class lower, there is no limitation for you so long as you're willing to take the right step to be able to achieve your ultimate goal. And in return, what I really want from everybody today is I want you to give this session your full attention. So if, I want you to close all the tabs that you may have, on your laptop, on your phone, so that you can have enough bandwidth to really follow through enough for this session. And I do hope that you gain the very best, through this session that we have together today. Let me also say that I wanted to keep an open mind through this session. I know that some of the things that you probably heard in the past, some of them might be questioned, in this session today, and as well as through this summit. But everybody is sharing with you best practices, and it's up to you to be able to internalize it and decide the best path that you want to take moving forward. What I would tell you is this is all for you. And you can really make the best of it to achieve your goal. For me personally, getting a fully funded scholarship has literally changed my life. Growing up in Okpa, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, the idea of going abroad to study was something that I really, really wanted to do. Because I just felt like being able to study in Nigeria was not enough for me. I felt like I wanted to create a better life for myself. I wanted to create a better life for my family. And I realized that going abroad was the best route for me to do that. But obviously, I didn't have the money to do that. And winning in 2011, I was fortunate to win Global Career Scholarship. And I got that everything was fully covered. And even though my classes were in Korean, I finished as the best student. I went on to do my master's degree on the same scholarship. And after working in Korea for 3 years, I felt like, I wanted to change my career to law. And so I moved to London to pursue a career in law. And I was very fortunate as well that I was able to get a scholarship, to study, in the UK. And I was able to get a job at one of the best law firms in the world. So again, this story that it's from me or from everybody is just across that path of really how scholarships has really changed everybody's lives for the better. And I think it can change your life as well. And I hope that this session today would really help you to achieve that goal. So what we're going to be covering over the next few minutes or so is number one is to get a bird's eye view of the vast opportunities available for you across the globe. And the other thing that I really want to spend more time today is to really want, even you're going to get access to all these list of scholarships, it's very important to take a step back and really understand how best can you identify the right scholarship for you. And the last point is, the specific opportunities. But again, I hope you stay to the end so that I can actually get some of the offers that I have for you so that you'll be able to like get access to these scholarship opportunities. So stay to the end for, to be able to get access to these. Now, at Scholarship IQ, we like to define fully funded across three categories. We call it category A, B, and C. Now, category A is where all your tuition fee is fully paid for. And this is very important, I think, for many of us that are from developing countries, whether across African continent, even outside Africa, in certain emerging markets in the world. The reality is that when you want to go abroad, the first thing that holds you back is the tuition fee. And there are numerous scholarships across the globe today that all your tuition fees get covered, covered by the school. Then the category B is we call it full tuition plus alpha. And what alpha means is it could either be a living expenses covered or your flight ticket. It depends on that particular scholarship to determine what is going to be added. Then the category C is where everything is covered, which is similar to what I got and similar to what Samson got as well, similar to the Commonwealth Share Scholarship. So I wanted to use this lens to analyze everything that I share with you today. And when you also keep on doing your own research to understand which opportunity is the best one for you as you move forward. Now, I just wanted you to know that at Scholarship IQ, what we focus on is fully funded scholarships across those three categories. That's what we're good at, and that's what we really focus on at the end of the day. And just like, humble brag here, I'm going to skip this real quick. I think Samson already made the point, and just some of the success rate that we have. And it's something that personally I'm very proud of because for me, scholarship is not just about free money. For me, I think it's a sign of hope that something better is possible for yourself, for your family, and importantly, for your community and obviously for your country. So again, it's not just about the money here, it's about what you can do with the money. Now, what I want to spend some time on here, like I said earlier, is I want to go through three criteria that I want you to always think about carefully when you're searching for fully funded scholarships. And it's very important that you really understand these three criteria very well so that once you get access to all these list of scholarships, you know exactly how to navigate your way to finding the right opportunity for yourself. And the three criteria that I want to focus on is number one is beginning with the end in mind. And the second one is, how to refine your search. And the last one is clarifying your sense of direction. And what some of you that have already been in this process would know is that when you are looking for scholarship, and I think Ezekiel made this point earlier as well, that when you're looking for scholarships, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. And what I hope that this session would allow you to do is to help you streamline how to find the perfect opportunity for you. And I dare say this to you today, that for every single person, maximum, you only need to apply for 6 that really matches you well. And if you can really focus on 6 or 7 that matches you well, most likely you put yourself in a very good position. But I see many students that eventually come to Scholarship IQ and they've applied for like 50. And I'm like, why are you applying to so many opportunities? You need to be able to, just shoot your shot on what you think is, on what you know is the best match for you. And that's what I hope I can help you clarify today. Now, moving on to the first one, which is, which is beginning with the end in mind. The first thing I want you to do is, and part of what I'm going to offer to you at the end of this session is you're going to have access to at least 50 fully funded scholarships that we're going to send to you with the links at the end of this session. But when you go through this list of scholarships, what I want you to do first is before you start researching which one is the best for you, begin with the end in mind. And I think that's something that all the speakers have said so far is understanding what is my plan post graduation. Because once you understand what your plan is, you can take a step back to identify which opportunity is the right one for you. I'll give you an example. I think whether it's Chevening or Australian government scholarship or New Zealand government scholarship, each of these opportunities require you to go back to your country once you're done. So if your plan is once I graduate, look, I want to stay back in this country, I want to make something for myself in this country, then for Australian government scholarship and for New Zealand, you should not apply for that. What I know is for Commonwealth, for some of the students that we helped in the past, because they got a PhD opportunity, they were able to remain in the UK. But other than that, they would have to go back, to Nigeria or to the countries that they are from. So it's very important to begin with the end in mind. The other thing that I want to emphasize about beginning with the end in mind is to understand what is even your goal when you graduate. I want you to know something that, and I always tell my students this, and I like to emphasize it. I know that scholarship, when we're telling the stories, it's more along the line of, oh, I didn't have enough money to do this and all that. But I like to break your bubble that scholarships are not really because you're poor. Scholarships are fundamentally because whichever body is awarding that scholarship, there is a goal they're trying to achieve. They have the certain students that they are trying to target. So if you come to them and say, oh, I don't have enough money, I'm poor, that is not really why, that is not going to be the number one reason why they're giving you the scholarship. The number one reason is that you align with what they're looking for in their prospective candidate. And so, for example, I would say, some of the asylum seeking scholarships that many students that are asylum seekers, and rightly so, they apply for these scholarships, and many of them get rejected. And it's not because they are not qualified, but it's because their stories are not aligning with that specific scholarship that are targeted toward asylum seekers. And so it's important for you to understand what are the aims and the objectives of the scholarship. And the reason why I'm emphasizing that point is once you know what the aims are and it aligns with your goal post-graduation, then I really think that application becomes more of mathematics. You understand why the scholarship, and you're able to understand what they're looking for, and that aligns with the goal you're trying to achieve after graduation, and you just connect it together, and that makes it a lot easier for you to make a compelling case at the end of the day. And the example I just want to give here is, one of my students, Daniel, that got a fully funded scholarship to study at KDI. And just to give you a tip here, KDI in South Korea, if you get this scholarship to go to this school, everything is fully funded. Just full disclosure. So I think if some of you are on the call here, that's something you need to know, that if you apply to KDI, School of Government and Public Policy, once you get in, it's fully funded. And for him, when initially, and just to the point I was making earlier, the issue he was having was that he got so overwhelmed with so many opportunities that which one's the right one for him to apply for. But when we started having conversations and talking through what is it that he wanted to achieve at the end of his graduation, and as we started talking, I realized I realized that, okay, I think then we're able to come up with a list of 6 scholarships that he could apply for that match exactly what he wanted. He runs an NGO in Nigeria. His goal was to go abroad, gain more understanding about the best global practices, and to come back to Africa, to Nigeria, to be able to expand the scope of his NGO. And once we understood that was his fundamental goal, it was easy to chart, okay, which one is the right opportunity for him to apply for. And again, being able to understand that eventually was able to land the scholarship for him. And by the way, once he finished in Korea, he was able to get a PhD program and he moved to Canada to even further his program before eventually returns back to Nigeria. So again, it's just in understanding, beginning with the end in mind and working backwards to identify what is the right opportunity for you. Now, the second point I want to emphasize is the importance of refining your search. Now, once you find what is the right, once you work backwards with the end in mind, the reality is you probably end up with maybe like 15 or 20 scholarships. Now, it's important to take a step back now and find out what is your own why. And I always tell my students this, that whoever has the strongest whys end up winning the scholarship. In my experience so far, it's as simple as that. If you can articulate your why very strongly, and if you have like 2 or 3 candidates, whoever has, even 1,000, those that have the strongest why and that aligns with the aims and objectives of that scholarship, and even that school you're applying to ends up getting the opportunity. But you can't begin understanding your why from outside. It has to begin from within you. And that is why people that win fully funded scholarships, I don't want to say all of them, but most of them, when you talk to them, they have a clear sense of purpose. They have, something they're trying to achieve. And you've been able to articulate that purpose, that why, and again, and aligns with that scholarship, literally nails it, brings it up for you. And so that's why before you go ahead and start, searching online and trying to find the right opportunity, just take a step back. Try to clarify what is your sense of purpose. And it doesn't have to be grand. For one of my students I'm working with right now, our simple purpose is, look, I want to go abroad to be the best human resource manager. And I really want to do that while ensuring that I have CIPM. And so once we understood that is exactly what she wants, we just took a step back. We're able to identify the right school for her to apply to, the right school, the right program. But if you're just looking for the right human resource management program online, trust me, it's gonna be overwhelming. And you'll be frustrated with, okay, which one should I go for? But once you have a clarity of purpose as to what you want, then you can just start out from there to understand, okay, exactly what you need to apply for and be able to identify the right scholarship and the right school indeed and the right program for you. And the example I just want to give you is one of our students that got Lester B. Pearson scholarship at University of Toronto in Canada. And is from Cameroon. And the reality, Lester B, it's also a fully funded scholarship. And this guy is an incredible student. I think, I think he finished as the best student in his secondary school in Canada. In Cameroon. I think he wrote A levels. He got, I think, A star for all his A levels. And ordinarily, you would think that this is the ideal candidate. But when he was applying for scholarships, he was rejected. But the reason why it was rejected was fundamentally when we sat down together and we analyzed everything, what I realized was the simple issue was there was no clarity of purpose. So, and this is why I tell many first class students that I've seen many cases. I've been fortunate to to sit on scholarship committees where someone with a third class would not, would get the scholarship, and someone with a first class would not get the scholarship. And the reason is simple. The person with the third class has a clarity of purpose, and the person with the first class has no clarity of purpose. And it happens many, many times. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't study hard at school. I did my own share of studying hard. You have to study hard. Having a clear sense of purpose and a good grade is the perfect recipe to get that scholarship. But at the end of the day, what is even more important is that clarity of purpose. And once my student just we're able to articulate his sense of purpose and why he wanted to go to Canada, why he wanted to study the program. This guy wants to study aeronautics engineering. Like that is freaking hard. And being able to articulate why he wants to study that and also what is his goal after graduation and be able to put that into his story. And how this guy even got inspired. He got inspired from his dad. And his story is even much more compelling because he lost his dad at a very young age. And there were certain, I can't go into the, but there were certain things that he learned from his dad that allowed him to really get a sense of, man, this is what I want to do. Imagine a 17, 18-year-old kid having that clarity, like, this is what I want to do, and being able to articulate it well. Eventually, it's a no-brainer. And since he has a very strong grade already, why wouldn't you give him the scholarship? So again, just to emphasize that point, once you receive the list, don't go and start searching. Just take a step back and ask yourself, why? Why do I want to do this? What's my ultimate goal here? And once you can really identify that, you put yourself in a very strong position when you're applying for scholarships. The last point I just want to make here, and I hope I'm not running beyond my time, is it's that the point I tried making earlier, which is why the scholarship. Once you understand why you want to do the program, now you need to take a step back and now ask yourself, why do you want to apply for that scholarship? And that's why research, research, research. I always tell my students this. People often struggle with writing essays, writing CVs, and writing, personal statement, mainly because they've not done their research. And it's very funny, and I always make fun of some of my students where, we first start working together and, they just want to start writing their personal statement. I'm like, okay, what have you found so far about the scholarship? And they found nothing. But they think that sometimes you can just sit and start writing essays. It doesn't work that way. And again, what makes you a very strong candidate is when you align your story, align your background toward exactly what you're looking for. I'll give you an example here. One of my students that applied for road trip is, fellowship. I'm not sure if some of you are familiar with that scholarship. It's part of a scholarship that you receive at the end of this session. When you read through what they're looking for in that particular scholarship program, they're looking for someone that has a strong sense of wanting to contribute to global peace. And if you read through the scholarship brochure, or the promotional materials, they keep on talking about peace, talking about peace. So that means that whatever you're writing in your essays, whatever you are writing in your CVs, you have to connect it back to what you're looking for. And if you don't, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a scholarship because you're not aligning with the aim and the objectives of the scholarship. It's as simple as that. So that's why it's very important for you to really understand, to be able to take a step back and know why do you want to apply for this scholarship. And for the third one, it's more along when you do your research, that's when you start figuring out that's more outward. that's when you start figuring out, okay, maybe this is the right opportunity for me. This is not the right opportunity for me. I'll give one last example. So I get so excited when I'm talking about this. So if I'm talking too fast, please let me know. The last example I want to give was, one of my students applying for Swedish Institute scholarship. And when you are applying for this scholarship, one thing you need to know about this scholarship is they focus so much on professional experience. So if you are someone that, you've got an incredible grade, but you've not had so much professional experience, you're likely not going to get a scholarship. So if you have a strong GPA, but you've not got a professional experience, oh, I've got a good grade, I'll get a scholarship. I'm sorry, they're not going to give it to you because they're looking for someone with a strong professional background, someone that has worked for like 2, 3 years. So before applying for the scholarship, same thing for someone like Samson. Samson was able to get a scholarship because Samson has won multiple awards. He's worked in the journalism industry in Nigeria like massively. So it was a no-brainer. This guy, and if you look at Chevenix's scholarship, they look so much about leadership. That's a key point. They will always want to leadership, leadership, leadership. So whatever story you're writing, and you're not talking about leadership, and how you've demonstrated that, I'm sorry, they're not going to give you the scholarship. So again, it's just going back to that idea of understanding what is the aim and the objective and aligning your story with what they are looking for and being able to tell your story in that light, and you put yourself in a better state. So let me just move on to, I just want to apply everything I've talked about here so that I'm not just talking about theory and I give you something you can work with. So, and this is just more of a general idea. You don't have to follow this. But what I always encourage is just step one is start with what's your own mission statement. And I just give an example here. Like I'm seeking a fully funded scholarship to learn the best, global practices, which would allow me to become a better human resource manager and allow me to simultaneously achieve CIPM certification. If this is, for example, your mission statement, all you have to do is just look for scholarships that aligns with this. And so once you're going online, you're no longer just like searching through, okay, which is the best opportunity for me? Because you know exactly what you want. And if you want a program that is going to allow you to achieve CIPM certification, and there are a lot of human resource program, most likely, this is very sure, all of them are not going to give you that CIPM certification. So if you don't find a program that has CIPM, then you shouldn't apply for it. That streamlines the whole process for you automatically. And again, once you know what your mission statement is, you can now use those keywords in that mission statement to identify the right scholarship for you. So I'm just gonna move on because I think I'm probably beyond my time. So I'm just gonna run quick. So I just want to go through the four types of scholarships that that are available and that you should always be on the lookout for. And again, like I said before, part of what you're going to receive at the end of this session is you're going to receive a link to top 100 scholarships across the globe that can actually apply for, whether you want to apply, to Asia or you want to apply to North America or to Europe and even to Africa. There are African countries right now, whether South Africa or even Uganda, that are offering scholarships for for other Africans to actually come to their country and study as well. And the first one is government scholarships. And for government scholarships, the pro is that once you get a government scholarship, everything is covered, like literally everything. Including your flight ticket. And I'm sure that for all those that got a full ride, yeah, once the first time they got their flight ticket, I remember my dad first told me, like, Aanu, are you sure this scholarship is real? Until he finally accepted it when they sent me my ticket. And okay, I think this is real for sure. So that's the benefit of a government scholarship. But the con is it's highly competitive. But what I want to tell you right now today is pretty much every single government, whether it's, even in Nigeria, even Nigerian government offers one form of government scholarship or not. Now it could be outbound or inbound. For a government like Nigeria, it's mostly outbound. They want Nigerians to go abroad, like PTDF scholarship for you to go out there and study and hopefully come back to Nigeria, or and I think every government has that kind of scholarship. And I think what I want to emphasize more is towards inbound scholarships. So whether you're talking about, South Korea, the UK, Denmark, Sweden, pretty much every single government has a form of scholarship that you can always apply for. Most of them are fully funded. And I give examples of some of them here. Now, the second category that I'm going to talk about real quick is university-based. And I think that's probably similar to what Demilade got. And a lot of scholarships, I think in the US are probably largely university-based. Now, it could be a partnership with maybe a foundation or an endowment, and all that, but it's largely, these are more university-based. And the thing about these ones is that they are less complex to apply for. The issue is more around getting admission. Once you get admission, most likely you get a fully funded scholarship. And most of these scholarships are largely category A or B, right? So category A is they will cover all your tuition fee, and you'll be the one to cover your own living expenses as well as your flight ticket. Or it could be just only the tuition fee. And again, some of these university-based, they even cover everything, including your flight ticket. Like the Knight NSC scholarship at Stanford, it covers everything. So again, it depends on, and the thing about this one is, I would say that for some of these scholarships, like I said before, it's not as competitive, but what is hard is actually getting admission to that school or that particular program or that particular department offering that specific scholarship. And I would say, and I like to say this every time, that I like to believe that we live in probably the most generous time in the history of humanity when it comes to scholarships. Like today, every single university across the globe offers one form of scholarship or not. Now, I'm focusing on fully funded, but even after your entrance into that school, most schools offer one form of scholarship. It's you being able to search and identify the right ones for you. And I tell you, if you're willing to do the work, I genuinely believe that everybody can win. If you can put in the hard work, there is a scholarship for you to achieve your goal to study abroad. The last one that I'm going to emphasize on is, well, the second to the last one is the international organizations. And for this one, it's also largely full ride. Everything gets covered, but it's also more competitive. But again, for me, and I know that maybe being on this side of the table, it's easier for me to say this, that I actually will say, forget the competition. Make yourself the competition. If you can put in the very best of your application, the reality, and you work so hard, the reality is you're gonna get the scholarship that is right for you. So I would say, I know that sometimes competition can make people do things that they're not meant to do. It's like, forget it, make yourself the competition, put your best foot forward. And they've made points about having people review your essay, having people guide you, put your best foot forward. And once you do that, you can actually, you can be in a better place of winning that, target scholarship. Now, I'm not sure if I've run past my time. Let me just quickly,
You have that. You have
So I'll
but we
just
do
go
for
through this last
sure.
point, and I'll be done. So
All
it's
right.
the charity organizations. And I think for this one that I just want to emphasize real quick, which is that, one thing that we're very fortunate with these days is a lot of foundations are out there offering, whether it's MasterCard, Rotary, Gates Foundation, even foundations that are in Asia that you've never even heard of. I was also a recipient of some of those opportunities as well, that they actually like give you scholarships, and it's about finding, you will get some of them in the list that we're going to send to you after this session. And let me just end by saying that three things I just don't want you to forget is, number one, begin with the end in mind. Then also refining your search, understanding your why. If there's anything I want you to take away from this, I don't want you to forget these 3 points. And also, doing your thorough research as to finding why the scholarship. And the only thing I hope this session helps you achieve is, I don't want you to be swimming in the oceans of, okay, which one is the right thing for me? I hope this session has helped you to clarify what is the exact point, what is the exact one that is right for you. And in case you are in need of, that support in the journey, what we have that Samson, got from is the Scholarship IQ Academy that, really guides you step-by-step process to achieve your fully funded scholarship. And what you can expect from me after this session, for those of you that stay to the end, is a list of, those scholarships that I listed here, and also additional scholarships with the links and the deadlines, so that you can actually start applying immediately. And also, you get a slide of this presentation. And also, for attending this session, you would also get a link to book a free 45-minute strategy call, so we can actually see where are you in your story and how can you get to where you want to get to. So that way, I hope that can be something that will help you to, in your application journey, to get the best opportunity for you moving forward. So that's it from me. And all I just gonna say is, please don't give up. Keep on pushing. And I do hope that you get a fully funded award. It's truly, truly transformational. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aanu. I think he deserves a virtual applause. Now, this is such an amazing presentation.